I'm not gonna lie, I really struggled with this one. When I searched beginner's sun salutation on the internet, I do not think that they are necessarily for beginners. I find that it moves too quickly for someone who's not familiar with the poses. So I wanted to try to create something that you can use as a tool that really breaks down the different poses and the movements step by step from a safe perspective. I've walked into classes at my gym where there's 30 people, and it's obvious that maybe 5 or 10 of them know how to do a true vinyasa safely. And the other 25 or 20 people are at risk of injuries. And when I hear things like, oh, I got injured in yoga, a part of me dies inside because I wonder, was it because of lack of information to keep them safe in their bodies? So this will be a step-by-step, some tutorial, workshop breakdown on poses, and an introduction to Surya Namaskar A, sun salutation. In the weeks to come, I will do a B for you, as well as the challenge of Chaturanga Dandasana, which is one of the most challenging poses, I think, in the sun salute, as well as just yoga in general. I think it plagues people for years, myself included. So if you're new to the practice, welcome, keep an open mind, and I'll look forward to working with you. If you find this content helpful, consider subscribing. It really does help the channel grow, and it helps me share the gift of yoga with you. And the fact that it's completely changed my life, and hopefully in some way, shape, or form, it can change yours too. So we'll get started unpacking our Surya Namaskar. Practice begins on hands and knees. So to begin, for a warm-up, we'll start in a hands and knees position for some cat-cow. Make sure that as you set up, your hands are right underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. Spin the creases of your elbows forward. They like to look in at each other, but this is important for later on in your yoga life and for your sun salutations. If your wrists are bothering you, just be mindful that you are not dumping your energy into your hands, but rather think of almost palming a basketball or suctioning to the ground to pull the energy up and into you so you have active fingers. Drop the belly, lift the tailbone, open up the heart. This is your cow pose, and on the exhale, curling the tailbone and unravel even through the crown, dangling it towards the ground. Inhale is the drop of the belly, the lift of the tail. Some people like to incorporate their feet. The tops of the feet would push into the ground as you arch into cat. And as you move into cow, the toes would tuck under. Actively push through the palms to get the separation of the shoulders through cat. And as you move through cow, push into the ground with your hands and imagine dragging your hands to your knees and feel the chest open, the shoulder blades engaged. You'll do one more round. Coming into that cat back. And hinge all the way back to a little embryo pose, hips to heels. Walk your hands to the right. Left hand will stack on top of the right hand as you push that hip over to the left. Try to breathe in fully into your side body, feeling that expansion through the left lung and rib. Moving on the exhale through center. Hips will sink to the right. Right hand stacks on left. Big breath. Meeting me back at center. Just take a moment to pause and watch to see where we're going so you don't have to be holding an awkward plank and figuring out what to do next with your body. Knees, chest, chin, which is where we insert the Chaturanga Dandasana, which might come later. Today's knees, chest, chin. It's a transition from plank to the floor. So from plank, elbow creases are forward. I hear some teachers say drop the knees, and then it is a bend of the elbows. We go knees down, chest down, chin down, and coming into your Bhujangasana Cobra. What I'd like to get you in the habit of doing, if you can remember, is once in plank, rather than just dropping your knees, if you can remember to roll to the tops of your toes, then drop the knees. Shoulders are engaged, elbows stitch your side body, and then come through. That roll of the toes forward will be more helpful later on to hopefully prevent you from getting into a bad habit that will cause damage to your shoulders. I know this from personal experience. That's why we're doing it nice and slow. If this knees, chest, chin is sort of not coming through on the brain right away, which is certainly a possibility, it was for me, the other thing you can do is you'll migrate from your plank pose, tops of the toes, knees down. You can do belly, but make sure those elbows are still grazing the ribs as you come to the floor. So now you have both options. We'll do that twice. We'll go through it each time, one with your knees, chest, chin, one time with your melting effect. So you'll decide what feels right in your body today. Plank position, fingers nice and wide. Spin the creases of the elbows forward. We're in plank. Gaze is at the mat, but the head isn't hanging. Strong through the legs. Rock to the tops of the toes. Drop the knees. Take your time. Elbows stitch in. My hips are still up in the air as you transition to the floor. Press through those palms. Come up and back. If you found that a challenge, let's go ahead and try the melting technique. From your plank pose, remember to check those creases of the elbows, rock to the tops of the toes, drop the knees. Belly comes down first, but as you bend, elbows still point to the back wall, coming to the ground. You can rest your chin or forehead. The hands shouldn't need to move at all. Press through the tops of your feet to lift your kneecaps and engage the muscles of the legs. On an inhale, lift your heart up. Try not to lift your chin. The energy is extending through the crown of the head, away from you. The pressure, right, should not be solely on your hands, but squeezing and engaging through the muscles of your back. This is your low cobra Bhujangasana. Take another breath in, and on the exhale, relax. Push into your hands, and take a moment to round your back. You can stack your fists and rest your forehead. Nice breath in and out. Go ahead and rise up. I want you to find another position, whether it's kneeling or seated on the ground, to watch your downward facing dog, your Adho Mukha Shavasana. Because we don't actually see our bodies and what they look like in space, we don't know that we're doing them wrong. One thing I will encourage you to do is when we finish this, maybe for our last round, to actually video yourself with a non-judgmental eye. What is your body doing in space, and does it need to be changed or altered in any way? Your downward facing dog, I will show you what I see lots of times in class. Tuck your toes, lift your hips. Right? This is technically they've done what I've asked them to do. Downward facing dog is an extension and a lengthening through the spine. It is a spin of the elbow creases, a lifting of the tailbone. I would rather see a downward dog that looks like this than straight legs and a rounded back, right? We need to think of extending long through the tailbone, belly to thigh. If you can extend through the backs of the legs at some point, then you do. Let's unpack it. From your child or embryo-like position, usually this extension of the arms forward is a good reference point on where your hands and feet need to be in relation to your dog. Spin the creases of your elbows forward. Try to keep them that way. Rock through center. Tuck your toes, and let's start by just lifting the tailbone. Keep the knees bent. Up with the knees and push back. Look through your thighs and very slowly try to keep that tailbone reaching. Begin to lengthen your legs to some degree. You can start shifting your weight from side to side or pedal. bend one knee, pressing the opposite heel to the floor, and you'll just take a couple of these back and forth. This is your Adho Mukha Shavasana. Gaze can also go up into the navel, which is preferable. And in your sun salutation, this is held for 5 breaths. Of course, if you haven't been here before, that's going to feel like a really long time. Begin to walk your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands, bend those knees, and roll your way up. Shoulders back and down. Just give yourself permission here to take a little swing from side to side. So we've unpacked our downward facing dog, our Bhujangasana, and our transition to the floor, knees, chest, chin. Now we're going to find our way into the sun breath, which is the beginning portion of our sun salute. Watching first, and then we'll go ahead and do some together. Inhale, the arms will come up. There's a slight back bend and a lift of the gaze. Exhale, knees bend, coming down. Inhale. Lots of times there's this, which is why I want you to have a visual. Extend the tailbone, the back is flat. Hands can come to shins. If you can touch the floor with straight legs, be mindful that your hands are in the same plane as your feet, not here. This will be for your future sun salutation and progressions. You'll want your hands and your feet to be on the same plane. Softening and finding your way up. Hands to the ceiling, offering that heart up to the sky, and eventually back into your heart center. So that was just one round. A Vinyasa, most of us just think of Vinyasa as a class with sun salutations, but Vinyasa translates to a moving meditation. It's one movement, one breath, and it doesn't have to be necessarily a sun salute. It can be cat-cow, inhaling to lift the tailbone, exhaling to compress into your cat pose. Meet me at the front end of your mat. Tadasana. Feet are parallel. Squeeze and engage the muscles of your thighs. Feel a lengthening downward of your tailbone and a lifting of your front body. Shoulders roll back and down, palms face forward. Inhale your arms up, slight lift of the gaze. Exhale, bend your knees as much as you need, coming into your fold. Relaxing fully through the crown. Come up into your flat back. Hands most likely will need to come to shins. Lengthen through the tailbone. Release into your fold. And reverse swan, come all the way up. Inhale to the sky. As the hands touch, come into heart center. That is your Anjali Mudra. We're going to do a couple of these together. Let's see if we can get that prana to start flowing. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Breathe in, lift halfway. Exhale, release down. Rise up. Inhale, arms overhead. Lift the heart. Bring it into heart center. Again, inhale. Exhale, fold. Half lift, breathe in. Long spine, exhale, let it go, and rise up. Let's do one more. Palms connect, bring it into the heart. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Breathe in. Exhale, let it go. Rise up, inhale, hands to sky. Bring it into heart center. Relax your shoulders, close your eyes. Can you feel a churning or movement of energy in your body? That is your prana, your life energy, your breath. Now can we layer our poses on with this sun breath? Nice and slow. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Breathe in, half lift. Exhale, place your hands on the mat, step back into plank. Elbow creases forward, rock to the tops of the toes, drop the knees, untuck the toes, knees, chest, chin, or melt, coming to the floor. Tops of the toes press, kneecaps lift, Bhujangasana. Gaze is down, don't look up. Release. Press through those palms. You can transition through table if you need to. Tuck the toes. Lift the tail up and back, downward dog. I want you to breathe. Feel your pose. Honor your body. Do you need to bend the knees? It is a lifting of the tail, a drawing inward of the navel as you exhale, feeling a suctioning and hollowing out effect in your body. Go ahead and lift your gaze and begin your walk as many steps as you need to come all the way to the front end of your mat. Inhale, lengthen up halfway. We finish that sun breath. Exhale, fold in half. Rise high. Take it all the way to the sky. Bring it into heart center. Close your eyes. Notice. Let's continue. Inhale the arm up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Breathe in, half lift. Exhale, place the hands next to your feet. Step back through your plank. Rock to the tops of the toes, knees down. Taking your transition of choice into Cobra Bhujangasana. Active through the legs, don't forget. Release, press through your palms. Table pose if you need it. Tuck the toes, up and back, downward dog. Let's hold for 5 breaths. You can do it. Take a break if you need to in child's pose and join back when you need. Exhale, navel draws in, tailbone is high. 2 more rounds of breath. Breathe in and out. Lift your gaze. Little steps, however many you need to come to the front end of your mat. Inhale, lengthen up halfway, shoulders down. Exhale, release. Rise high, take it all the way up. Hands to the ceiling. Bring it into heart center. Relax your shoulders. Let's see if we can do 2 more rounds. Begin to feel 1 movement, 1 breath. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Breathe in halfway. Exhale, hands down. Step back into your plank position. Rock to the toes, knees down. Transition of choice. Bhujangasana. The breath in is as you lift through the heart. Gaze is down. Exhale, release. Press through those palms. Coming up through. Meet me. And downward facing dog. Shorten the distance between the belly and the thighs. Bend your knees as much as you need here. Exhale, navel draws in. Building strength and heat in your body. At some point, this pose will become a point of restoration. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. Take your time. Little steps, however many you need to come to the front end of the mat. Inhale up, exhale, fold. Rise all the way up, hands to the sky. Bring it into heart center. Last time. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold. This one is yours. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, hands down, stepping back through plank position. To the tops of the toes, knees. Take your choice. Bhujangasana. Heart is open, kneecaps lifted. Release on the exhale. Toes may tuck. Coming through table, coming through plank, however you need to come up and back. Adho Mukha Shavasana, downward dog. Active, press through the hands. Strong navel center on the exhale. Tailbone high to the sky. 2 more breaths. After completing the exhale, lifting the gaze, and go ahead and walk. Feet step all the way to the front end of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Rise all the way up. Hands to the sky. And bring it into heart center. Close your eyes. Notice any changes in your body. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hinge and fold. Lengthen up halfway, breathe in. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back onto your knees, hips to heels. Drop the hips to one side, swing the legs around. We'll complete our practice with just a short cool down. Inhale, sit tall at the front end of your mat. Exhale, curl the spine and slowly begin to lower your way down, taking your time. As you land, full extension, stretching your body in opposite direction. Contract through the abdominals, fingers and toes reach away, full breath. And on the exhale, knees will pull into chest, taking a squeeze and just gently rock from side to side. Trying to let the muscles relax and soften, using the ground for a gentle massage. One hand on each knee. Begin a circular churn, just as if to trace right around the sacrum. Reversing the direction. Come all the way back to center, knees come into chest, and extend the arms out to the sides. Allow the knees to drop over to the right side, and you might like to further enhance this by letting your right hand stack on top of your left thigh. Even a gentle rock of your head, keeping the eyes closed or the gaze soft. Eventually, just find a place to pause in stillness and observe your breath and your body. Releasing the bind if you have one. Knees come back to center. You'll want to lift and lower your hips here before we take it on to the other side. Knees will drop left. Option to take the bind, letting the left hand further draw the knees a little closer to that left side. Gentle head rocks. And eventually just pause and be. Breathe all the way up and into that right lung. On the exhale, releasing and come to center. Adjusting the spine. Pull the knees into the chest, and you can opt to roll to one side or pump the legs, rolling your way up. Eventually meeting me up in a comfortable seat. As you settle in, bring your hands to heart center, humble bow forward. Acknowledge any changes or shifts in your body, your mind. If you're new to the practice, that it takes courage to be here. And it's okay to be a little less than perfect when you're first learning something new. Open your eyes. As always, I'm humbled and honored to be here with you. I hope you found this helpful and it's something you can use to help build strength and awareness in your body. Get yourself ready for some things we'll do in the future. And I hope I get to see you soon. Namaste.